The way to use social media, again, to really promote anything is to get people, the right audience to think about it and talk about it. And so it's really about creating a web video that you think your audience would be interested in. First of all, there's nothing better than great content. Then the second thing after that is putting it in front of the right people who want to actually see it. And the third thing is giving them the tools to send it out to their networks. So if it's on your site that you're driving them to, they happen to see it, then giving them the opportunity to put it onto Facebook, put it onto Dig, bookmark it, share it with other people, even just email it to other people. Even take that video and put it on their sites. Let go of that, control that video and give it to people. I think web video is a big threat to web media, primarily because it's a different format. But I think one of the best players in web video are traditional media. So if you think about Hulu.com, which has done a very good job of taking traditional TV shows and clips and programs and putting them onto the web, and more importantly, monetizing it much better than, for example, YouTube has done. I think the key thing here is that it's not so much around big companies and web video being separate and enemies, but how can web video be another outlet, a distribution tool for traditional media companies. And I think they're being pretty smart about really experimenting with it and using it as another channel to engage with their audience. If this process actually happens, where more and more users are moving to the online space, I do believe that advertising dollars will move with it. Now, it's been defying the odds of gravity, I think, traditional television, in that even though the audience has been declining, the revenue has stayed the same, or in some cases actually increased, because it is, again, still one of the very few places where you can buy mass market. But as that market actually moves online, you can see more and more pressure and that audience moving there too as well. I mean, we're already seeing it with places like Hulu and to some extent on YouTube, where advertisers are saying, I do want to sponsor these programs because that is where my audience is. They're not viewing it on television. I still want to complete and make sure I get all of that viewing audience, and so I'm going to move with that audience. But it's going to take some time as they become more comfortable and familiar with what those metrics actually mean. So I don't believe that online will ever have the sort of pulling power in terms of the monetization as TV does. If it does, it's going to take a decade or longer. Because if you think about the experience, the media buying juggernaut that's out there to make TV work, it's a very established, very well respected and understood medium. Whereas video, because you can actually see the viewing and everything, because it is so measurable, people are actually saying, okay, I'm not paying for the potential audience, I'm going to pay for actual audience. And because of that, it's going to be harder again to actually monetize that at the scale, again, that traditional television has. Some way metrics in the online video space is a curse, because it is so infinitely measurable. But I think that discipline of being able to measure is now coming into the television space too as well, especially with set-top box viewing, with Nielsen actually putting in viewership numbers, not just audience numbers, and also advertising people actually asking and requiring that part of their media buys have viewers, not just audience numbers in them. I think the biggest innovation in terms of the television and video space is that there is an experience, a video experience that you can experience on TV, and online, and then there's a purely online experience too that continues either before the viewing experience and also afterwards. So you take some of the biggest shows out there, things like Lost or Dancing with the Stars. These are experiences that people have and continue to have before, during, and after the actual viewing. And so it's a complete experience now, not just during those 30 or 60 minutes that you're watching the show, but also for the couple hours before when you're planning it, talking about the water cooler experience. All those things are tying together. And so the producers now are thinking about how do you tie all that together, and also the advertisers are working with the producers and saying, how do I tie and monetize that entire experience?